I want to talk about something that we all see in politics, something that is coming to define the MAGA movement. But until recently, it hasn't had a name. It's got one now, and that is vice signaling. Now, we've all heard of virtue signaling, right? It's when people make this big show, sometimes cringe-inducing show, of their moral values, their progressivism, their empathy. The right wing loves to mock that. They say that liberals are always trying to prove just how good they are. You know, they roll their eyes at people standing up for the marginalized, advocating for justice, or, God forbid, asking for basic human decency. But here's a question. If you build a movement that is based on rejecting virtue, what are you left with then? When decency, morality, and even human kindness become things to ridicule, how do you prove you belong? Well, the answer, vice signaling. Instead of working to show people how good you are, you work to show people how bad you are. Instead of standing up for actual principles, you just trigger the libs, right? In the MAGA GOP, you don't need actual conservative values anymore. You just need to be loud and cruel and as awful as possible. We see this everywhere nowadays. If you don't believe me, let me introduce you to one Mr. Andrew Tate.
Here's a little move. When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me trying to resist, and I just, and then I grab you by your neck again. Then what the are you gonna do when your face is collapsed and your cheekbone's broken? You ain't gonna do shit but cry.
I guarantee I changed the way you look at sex forever. You're gonna be crying. I won't cry. I bet you cry. I bet you cry. You're saying I wouldn't cry. You're challenging me to a fight. You're saying I can't hurt you. You're out of your mind? I don't even have to you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then.
I perfected this in pimp school. When I got my PhD, we had to practice if a girl comes at you. You cheated, you cheating. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and then grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up!
Charming young man, right? Now, recently, you may have heard that Mr. Tate and his brother Tristan have moved to America. It was a rather shocking development because in addition to being extremely controversial figures on the far right, the Tates were under investigation for human trafficking and money laundering in a number of countries. They literally had travel restrictions that didn't permit them to leave Romania. This inevitably led many to ask if the Trump White House intervened on their behalf. And while we don't know for certain, Romanian officials have said their U.S. counterparts brought up the brothers' case with them. So regardless, the Tate brothers are now on American soil. And how do you think the GOP has reacted to that? How do you think the party of family values and protecting women, how do they respond to the Tate's arrival? Take a look for yourself.
Hi.
Hello, Alina.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice
Big
to meet
fan.
you. I'm a fan. You're the one saving Trump. You're doing more important work than me.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said.
That was Alina Habba. Alina Habba, currently a counselor to the president in the White House. Yep. A top White House official just said that she was, quote, a big fan of Andrew Tate. And it's not just Habba. Benny Johnson, Candace Owens, a whole host of MAGA stars hugging Andrew Tate as tight as they can. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. Not everyone was on board with this little love fest with Andrew Tate and his brother. Ben Shapiro and the folks over at the Daily Wire actually called it out.
Let me say right at the outset, I am not upset at all with anyone actually just interviewing Andrew Tate. Go for it. Have at it. There are tons of excellent questions to ask Andrew Tate, but none of these people are asking Andrew Tate any of those questions. Instead, a lot of people are sort of glomming onto his very online popularity in order to get clicks. And some people are dishonestly conflating interviewing Andrew Tate with cheering for Andrew Tate or applauding him or talking about how brave and wonderful he is. And Andrew Tate is not brave and wonderful. He rips off thousands of people with his Scam Hustlers University. He preaches the virtue of treating women in a way you would never, ever allow anyone to treat your wife or your daughter. No one is saying you can't have Andrew Tate on your show. It's a free country. You should do what you want. What I'm saying is that if you say you're conservative and then you have someone who truly is disgusting on, and you proceed to tout them, praise them, nod along to everything they say, cheer them, you're doing more than platforming, which again is fine. Platforming, the idea that you can never have a conversation. You can have a conversation with whomever you want, but there's a difference between having a conversation with a person and becoming a propagandist for that person.
Well, damn, Ben Shapiro. Those are some fighting words right there. Andrew Tate is, quote, truly disgusting? Okay, then. So maybe there are some folks on the MAGA right who still have a moral backbone, but not so fast. Because do you know what happened after Shapiro and his Daily Wire colleagues blasted Tate? Their own audience turned on them like a pack of wolves. The backlash was swift, it was brutal, and it was very telling. They made it very clear that they didn't want nuance or principles. They wanted blood. They wanted cruelty. So what did Shapiro and company do? Did they double down on reason? Did they stand their ground? Of course not. They pivoted. They found their own flavor of vice signaling to get back in the game. How? By calling for the pardon of Derek Chauvin. Yeah, you heard me right. Derek Chauvin, the man who knelt on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes or so. 9 minutes and 29 seconds. The man whose actions sparked a global reckoning. They said, let him out.
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin. President Trump should, in fact, pardon Derek Chauvin. He should. He should pardon him his federal charges.
What the actual, do you know what? No, seriously, what the actual, I won't say it. Are we living in an upside down world? We're going to pardon Derek Chauvin, really? Ben Shapiro, have you lost your damn mind? Do I need to remind you what Ben Shapiro said about this man? This was back in 2020. Here, watch this.
And I think that, once more, it is important to recognize that everyone should be on the same side of this. Right? Really, everyone should be on the same side of this. What we have seen here, and yet we are not. What we have seen here is a police officer kneeling on the neck of a black man for 4 straight minutes while he's being told by people, including the guy who is underneath his knee, that he cannot breathe. Okay, it's really, really ugly, and it's really, really bad.
How did we get here? How did a party that once claimed the moral high ground turn into this cesspool of spite and cruelty? I'm going to tell you. A decade of Trumpism stripped away the veneer. It told people, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be thoughtful. You just have to own the libs at any cost. And now the influencers, the talking heads, the base, they've taken that ball and run with it. Andrew Tate, Derek Chauvin, these aren't outliers. They're the new litmus test. You're not a real Republican unless you're vicious and awful enough to make everyone around you uncomfortable. And you know what the saddest part is? It works. It keeps the likes on Twitter flowing, the podcast downloads spiking, the rally crowds roaring. And at what cost? What happens when the only currency left is cruelty? What kind of a political movement is that? This is MAGA 2025, folks. Vice signaling isn't just a trend. It is their gospel now. And God help us all if that gospel keeps spreading. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.